Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, May 6, 2024. NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs, MLB, soccer, golf, NASCAR, Formula One, the Kentucky Derby, American Idol, news and notes, and best bets. So it's a very busy show today. We'll start with the NBA playoffs. We'll talk about last night's games and the rest of the weekend. Look ahead to tonight. And we'll make picks for the series as we did not pick yet. We'll begin with Friday. Magic over the Cavs 103-96 to force the Game 7. Mavericks over the Clippers 114-101 to win Game 6 to advance. Saturday, T-Wolves upset the Nuggets 106-99 to take a 1-0 series lead in the semifinals. Yesterday, Cavs over the Magic 106-94 to win Game 7 and advance to the second round to take on the Boston Celtics. We'll do series picks in a second. 7:30 TNT, Pacers, Knicks. We picked the series already. We said Knicks in 6. And we talked about the disrespect that Indiana was getting in the betting market. My line's Knicks by 3, total 231 and 7/20. And it is 6 and 217.5. I can't believe that's 6. Are you kidding me? I'm taking the over because that's going to be a lot of points with the way the Pacers like to run their offense. But I am willing to take the Pacers against the spread. That's way too high. And then at 10 o'clock on TNT, Timberwolves Nuggets Game 2. Mine's Nuggets by only 2, total 221 and 11/20. And it is 5.5 and 205.5. We'll go over here as well. And I'm willing to take T-Wolves spread, but I don't have the balls to actually bet it. All right, the other series is, so starting Tuesday will be Cavs Celtics. Best player in the series, Jason Tatum. The Celtics got through Miami in 5. The Cavs, as we know, got through the Magic in 7. Although they're down 18 in the first half against the Magic yesterday. I just think that this Cavs team is still really flawed. And the Celtics, even without Porzingis, can shoot their threes and take care of business here. But Tatum, to me, is the best player on the court. And then I'd say Donovan Mitchell. And then probably Jaylen Brown. And then you can make a case for Mobley or Garland or even Drew Holiday. But there's a lot of star power in this series and a lot of above-average starting players and a lot of good role players too. Coaching advantage. Joe Mazzulla or J.B. Bickerstaff. Oof. Joe Mazzulla. He's done a good job this season. Did not do good in Game 2, as we know, but in Game 2 against Miami, but he's been certainly better to J.B. Bickerstaff this season. Story of the series. So, in case you didn't know, that was the Cavaliers' first playoff series win without LeBron James on its roster since 1993. But, to me, the story of the series is Donovan Mitchell. Will he continue his hot shooting into the series where the series could be more competitive than the odds makers are giving the Cavs? He had to score a lot for the Cavs to win this series against Orlando, and he's going to have to even work harder if the Celtics want to, or if the Cavaliers want to pull off this monster upset or even be in the series. So the Celtics are minus 1,600. The Cavs are plus 820. My pick for this series is going to be the Boston Celtics in 5 games. I know they don't have Kristaps Porzingis, but they should win this series rather than easily. That is the series' favored outcome at plus 175. I'm willing to place a couple dollars on that, but from a parlay standpoint, I am probably going to lay the 1.5 games at the Celtics and maybe with the Knicks as well, because I gave out Knicks in 6 on Friday and parlay that with the Nuggets as they're trailing in the series. Now they're a dog to win the series at plus 106, and maybe a couple of hockey. I know the Rangers won game 1, but maybe I'll throw them in as like a minus 140 or whatever they are now. Throw the Florida Panthers in there. Maybe the Canucks as the upset pick. So I have some options here. So also in the NBA, we will have the Mavericks against the Thunder. Should be a really good series. Best guy in the series is Luka Doncic. I think that he is very capable of being the best player on the championship team. This team has experience. I really like OKC, and I think SGA can be the best guy in the series, but Luka, to me, is the best guy in the series, hands down, for right now. Coaching edge, I'm giving it to Mark Daigneault over Jason Kidd. I'm not the biggest Jason Kidd fan, as you know. Something that could hurt the Mavs, or affect the Mavs, I should say, is the rumors with Jason Kidd linked to the Laker job. Like, Jason Kidd is coaching the Mavericks right now. And the Mavs want to extend Kidd, apparently. I think Jason Kidd's done a nice coaching job this year. I really do. But I'm a critic of Jason Kidd. I don't think he's that good of an NBA head coach. He fell flat on his face with the Brooklyn Nets. He underachieved with Giannis and the Bucks. And, like I said, he was bad last year, but he's been good this year. So, I picked Daigneault. He's the coach of the year for a reason. They're the ones he said to me he has the coaching advantage over Jason Kidd. Story of the series. Will Oklahoma City and its youth beat the experienced Dallas Mavericks team and make the Western Finals with the turnaround season that they've had? All right, so my pick for the series, I bet it at FanDuel at 4-1. It's the Dallas Mavericks in 6. OKC's now favored in the series at minus 120. Dallas is minus 102. I took Dallas in 6 at 4-1. Now it's down to plus 390. And believe it or not, that's actually the favored outcome in the series. And the other Western series we did already between the T-Wolves and the Nuggets. All right, now move on to the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll talk about the weekend's results and look ahead to tonight's games and other series picks that we didn't do yet. Friday, Game 6, Canucks over the Predators, 1-0 as they advance and they get a goal with just over a minute to go in regulation by P.S. Suter to advance to the second round. Golden Knights over the Stars, 2-0 to force a Game 7. And then Saturday, the Bruins over the Maple Leafs, 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by David Pastrnak to advance. So, Game 7 overtime, Bruins do it again. And the Maple Leafs are out of the playoffs yet again. And the funny thing is that Toronto had the lead in this game for a grand total of 1 minute and 21 seconds. William Nylander scores in the third period with over 10 minutes to go. And then just over a minute later, Hampus Lindholm ties the game. And then Pastrnak wins it not even 2 minutes into overtime. So, Boston gets it done. Now they'll be playing the Panthers in the second round in a rematch of the series last year where the Panthers came back from 3-1 down to win that series. And yesterday, East Game 1 semifinals, Rangers over the Hurricanes 4-3. And the West Game 7, Stars over the Golden Knights 2-1 to advance to take on the Colorado Avalanche. All right, one game tonight, 8 o'clock ESPN, Bruins-Panthers. Panthers minus 170, Bruins plus 138, over under 5.5, overs plus 102, unders minus 124. Bruins plus 1.5 is minus 196, Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 162. This is a ballsy pick, like the over. The Panthers are a really good offensive team, and I think the Bruins can score a little bit with them, depending on the opportunity. So I like the over 5.5 at plus 102. And that's the series we're going to start with, because we made our Rangers in 7 pick on Friday, and I still feel pretty good about that. So, Panthers-Bruins. Best player in the series, you could argue Matt Tkachuk, and you could argue for David Pastrnak, but I'm going with Tkachuk. He's outstanding. He really was awesome in the Cup run last year. And this season, he was amazing as well, and he was good in the series against the Lightning as well, although his point production dropped from last year to this year. But I still think he's the best player on the ice potentially. I mean, Pastrnak might have something to say about that. Coaching advantage. To me, it has to be Paul Maurice. He made it to the final last year, and he gets a lot out of his teams. I think Montgomery's a good coach too, but to me, I pick Maurice. Story of the series. This is a rematch, as we know. Will the Bruins get revenge on the Panthers after blowing a 3-1 series lead to them in the first round last year after winning the President's Trophy? And the Panthers were the unlikely 8 seed to make the Stanley Cup final. And granted, that team underachieved in the regular season last year, but they found their way to the Stanley Cup final. Or will history repeat itself and the Panthers do it again against the Bruins? So my pick for the series is the Florida Panthers in 6 games. Like I said, I think Tkachuk is the best guy in the series. I think that their experience is going to matter. I think they have better scoring. So I'm going to take Florida Panthers 4-2 at plus 430. The favorite outcome is the Panthers in 7, amazingly enough, at 4-1. But I'm going to take the Panthers 4-2 at plus 430. To the West, we'll start with the game that we saw last night. The Dallas Stars against the Colorado Avalanche. Best player in the series, Nathan MacKinnon. I just think that he's a franchise player. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's a clutch player. He means so much to the Colorado Avalanche. He's their rock, and he can put the team on his back. The coaching advantage in this series. This is a hard one for me, but I am going to say Jared Bednar. He won a Stanley Cup more recently, and Pete DeBoer has yet to win a Stanley Cup. He's bounced around a lot, made a lot of Stanley Cup finals, not a lot, but a couple of Stanley Cup finals in his career. He went to one with the Devils. He went to one he almost went to one with Vegas. He could have went to one last year at Dallas. But he was in the Stanley Cup final in 2016 with the Sharks. He's been in it twice. A bunch of conference finals losses. 2019 with San Jose against the Blues. Vegas back-to-back years. That terrible series loss against Montreal in the second COVID playoffs. And then the first COVID playoffs, he was with Vegas and lost to Dallas. And he was the Dallas coach and lost to Vegas last year. So I'd still take Jared Bednar over Peter DeBoer for the coaching edge in the series. This is going to be a classic, just like Dallas's previous series with Vegas. And I think Dallas does it again. I think they're a deeper team. I still think that the better goalie is Jake Ottinger. Gabriel Landeskog is still out for Colorado, so I don't think we'll see him. So, and Dallas is a minus 138 favorite in the series. Colorado's plus 115, and Dallas deserves to be favored. So, Dallas 4-3 is plus 410. And that is the favored outcome in this series as well. And then the other series out west, Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers. Best player in the series, Connor McDavid. I mean, come on. Listen, Vancouver has a ton of talent. Quinn Hughes is amazing. I think that JT Miller has turned into a very, very good player on Vancouver. But Edmonton probably has the first and the second best player in the series in him and Leon Draisaitl. So I am going to say that. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about the storyline of the Dallas Colorado series. To me, the story of this series is whether Colorado could still potentially win the series without Gabe Landeskog, and they're actually an underdog in the series as well. Back to the Vancouver-Edmonton coaching advantage. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to go Chris Knoblauch. The Oilers have been one of the best teams in the league since he showed up. And maybe I'm biased because he coached the Hartford Wolfpack, which is the Rangers AHL affiliate. And I think that he should have been given a stronger look at the Rangers head coaching position. But, hey, it looks like they made the right decision for now with Peter Laviolette, who won the President's Trophy and swept his old team, the Capitals, in a playoff series in the East. So that's another story for another day. I love Chris Knoblauch. He's a really good coach. Although Rick Tocchet has done a fabulous job with the Vancouver Canucks this year and absolutely deserves the Jack Adams Award. Story of the series. Will Thatcher Demko come back for the Canucks? Obviously, he has not been seen since Game 1 of the Preds series. So, Demko's out for Game 1. So, it looks like it's going to be Arturs Silvos against Stuart Skinner. Not a sexy goaltending matchup, but Silovs could be the hot goalie of the 2024 playoffs, although Silovs could turn out to flop like that goalie for the Devils did last year when Lindy Ruff made the goalie change and benched Vitek Vanacek for I forget the goaltender's name that came in and beat the Rangers. Akira Schmid? Was that who that was? Yeah, Akira Schmid. That's who came in and swung that Rangers Devils series last year. Maybe the Canucks goalie, Solovs, is the Schmid of this year. So that's the case for Edmonton. But I still don't trust Skinner's. Skinner's wasn't good in the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken. Vancouver has a lot of talent offensively, and their defense is really, really good, led by Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is the best defensive player in this series. So, to me, Solovs is the big story of the series, and whether Thatcher Demko comes back. And if Demko comes back and Solovs is still playing well, do you still ride the hot hand with Solovs? Or do you go back to the guy that's took you to this point the whole season in Thatcher Demko? Or this could end up being a Corey Crawford and, oh my God, what was the backup in Chicago's name? Crawford got benched and the backup came in and won a couple games, and then they went back to Crawford and they came back and won the series. I forget that goalie's name. Scott Darling. There you go. Scott Darling was the one that came in for Corey Crawford in the Blackhawks 2015 Stanley Cup run. Or that could be that situation. Edmonton's favored in the series, and rightfully so because of the situation with Vancouver. Edmonton's minus 250. Vancouver's plus 202. This is where your Shirley's is going with an upset. Vancouver Canucks, 4-3. I think they win in 7. It's 6-1. I'm pulling the trigger on it. That's my big upset pick of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers are minus 250 favorite. Vancouver's plus 202. I'm going Vancouver in 7 at 6-1. I just think they're the better team, and they have a potentially good problem on their hands, although this pick could absolutely backfire on me, and Connor McDavid could carry the Oilers on his back to a series win. Okay. Now move on to Major League Baseball. Sorry for the long hockey segment. We had a couple series to pick. We'll talk about the weekend's results and look ahead to a short Monday slate. Friday. Brewers over the Cubs 3-1. O's over the Reds 3-0. Rockies over the Pirates 3-2. Phillies over the Giants 4-3. Nats over the Jays 9-3. Rays over the Mets 10-8. Yankees over the Tigers 2-1 on a walk-off single by Anthony Rizzo. Angels over the Guardians 6-0. Royals over the Rangers 7-1. Twins over the Red Sox 5-2. Astros over the Mariners 5-3. Cards over the White Sox 3-0. A's over the Marlins 3-1. Padres over the D-backs 7-1. And the Dodgers over the Braves 4-3-11 on a walk-off single by rookie Andy Pages. Saturday, Yankees over the Tigers 5-3. Twins over the Red Sox 3-1. White Sox over the Cardinals 6-5-10. Cubs over the Brewers 6-5. Pirates over the Rockies 1-0. Blue Jays over the Nats 6-3. A's over the Marlins 20-4. I guarantee you we will not see the Oakland Athletics score 20 runs in a game again this season. Phillies over the Giants 14-3. Guardians over the Angels 7-1. O's over the Reds 2-1. Rangers over the Royals 15-4. Rays over the Mets 3-1. Mariners over the Astros 5-0. Padres over the D-backs 13-1. And the Dodgers over the Braves 11-2. And then yesterday, Yankees over the Tigers 5-2 in a rain-shortened 8-inning game. Pirates over the Rockies 5-3. Nats over the Jays 11-8. Guardians over the Angels 4-1. Rays over the Mets 7-6-10. Red Sox over the Twins 9-2. Mariners over the Astros 5-4. Royals lose at home to the Rangers 3-2-10. White Sox over the Cards 5-1. Cubs over the Brewers 5-0. Marlins over the A's 12-3. Dodgers over the Braves 5-1 to complete the sweep. O's over the Reds 11-1. D-backs over the Padres 11-4. And the Phillies over the Giants 5-4 on Sunday Night Baseball. All right, tonight's games. Well, there's one afternoon game at 4 o'clock, late afternoon. It's Giants-Phillies. It's Mason Black making his debut against Zach Wheeler. Phils are going to be a near 2-1 favorite. Minus 98, Giants plus 166, over under 8. Over is minus 115, under is minus 105. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 130, Phils minus 1.5 plus 108. I'm laying the run line with the Phillies. 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, Tigers, Guardians, Jack Flaherty and Tristan McKenzie. Guardians minus 116, Tigers minus 102, over under 7.5. Over is minus 112, unders minus 108. Tigers minus 1.5 is plus 164. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 100. I'm going with the over. Oh, wait, no, excuse me. I'm going with the Guardians minus 116. Although I do like the over as well. Angels Pirates 6:30. Tyler Anderson, Mitch Keller. Pirates minus 134. Angels plus 116, over under 8. Over is minus 105. Under is minus 115. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 184. Pirates minus 1.5 is plus 152. Why is the betting market giving Mitch Keller the benefit of the doubt? He has an ERA over 5. He's looking like that bust prospect he looked like before he put it together and made an all-star. I'm betting against him, taking the Angels. And a pitcher I do not like in Tyler Anderson in plus 116. 650, White Sox Rays. We don't know the pitching matchup. But I'll tell you what, the Rays better freaking win this series after getting swept by the White Sox a couple weeks ago. But yeah, that line's not up. Rays run line might be a consideration, or the over. 7:30, Brewers Royals. Good series. Bryce Wilson, Cole Ragans. Royals minus 148, Brewers plus 126, over under 8.5. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 176. Royals minus 1.5 is plus 146. I'm going to go with the Brewers outright plus 126 just to take a shot at an underdog. Padres Cubs. Yu Darvish, Justin Steele. Cubs minus 126. Padres plus, it is the Padres plus 108, over under 7. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Padres plus 1.5 is minus 120. Cubs minus 1.5 plus 180. So Justin Steele back on the mound for the Cubs. So the Cubs are getting healthy at a good time. And Yu Darvish back in Chicago. I like the under 7, even money. Mariners Twins. Luis Castillo, Simeon, Woods, Richardson. Mariners minus 126, Twins plus 108, over under 7.5. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 134. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 162. I'm going with the Twins as a home underdog, plus 106. 7:45, Mets Cards. Sean Benail, Kyle Gibson. So the battle of two disappointing National League teams. Cards minus 130, Mets plus 110, over under 8. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Mets plus 1.5 is minus 196. Cards minus 1.5 is plus 162. Tough one. I am going to go with the over. 9:30, Rangers A's. Andrew Heaney, Alex Wood. Rangers minus 142, A's plus 120, over under 8, minus 110 Detroit. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 118. A's plus 1.5 is minus 144. I like the over. And 10 o'clock, Marlins Dodgers. Roderi Munoz and Walker Buehler making his season debut for the Dodgers. Dodgers minus 260, Marlins plus 215, over under 8.5. Overs minus 8, unders minus 112. Marlins plus 1.5 is plus 105. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 126. I have to go with the over. We don't know what we're getting from Walker Buehler, and the Dodger offense is humming right now. Now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from last night and look ahead to the soccer for today. We will begin with the EPL. Friday, Luton, Everton, 1-1 draw. Saturday, Arsenal over Bournemouth, 3-0. Brentford, Fulham, 0-0 draw. Newcastle over Burnley, 4-1. Nottingham Forest over Sheffield United, 3-1. Man City over Wolves, 5-1. Yesterday, Brighton over Aston Villa, 1-0. Chelsea over West Ham, 5-0. Liverpool over Tottenham, 4-2. One game today, 3 o'clock, Crystal Palace, Man United. Man United's in 8th, and Crystal Palace is in 14th. Man United's going to be a huge favorite. What? That's not right. Crystal Palace plus 130. Man United plus 185. Draw plus 270. What in God's name? Man United's winning this game. Plus 185. Wow. Talk about disrespecting. Bundesliga. Friday. Hoffenheim RB Leipzig 1-1 draw. Saturday. Dortmund over Augsburg 5-1. Stuttgart over Bayern 3-1. Wolfsburg over Darmstadt 3-0. Bremen Gladbach 2-2 draw. Cologne Freiburg 0-0 draw. And yesterday, Bochum over Union Berlin 4-3. Leverkusen over Frankfurt 5-1. Heidenheim Mainz 1-1 draw. La Liga. Friday. Athletic over Getafe 2-0. Saturday, Real Sociedad over Las Palmas 2-0. Real Madrid over Cadiz 3-0. Girona over Barcelona 4-2. And Athletic over Mallorca 1-0. And yesterday, Betis over Osasuna 2-0. Celta Vigo over Villarreal 3-2. Alaves over Valencia 1-0. Almeria over Rayo 1-0. And Sevilla over Granada 3-0. Serie A. Friday, Torino Bologna 0-0 draw. Saturday, Monza Lazio 2-2 draw. And Sassuolo over Inter Milan 1-0. And then yesterday, Cagliari Lecce 1-1 draw. Empoli Frosinone 0-0 draw. Verona over Fiorentina 2-0. Milan Genoa 3-3 draw. AS Roma Juventus 1-1 draw. 2 games today at noon. Salernitana and Atalanta. Atalanta's in 6th, and Salernitana is going to be relegated. Atalanta's minus 310. Salernitana is 7-1. The draw's plus 420. I'm going to do over 3.5 goals at plus 144. And 245, Udinese and Napoli. Napoli's in 9th, and Udinese's in 18th. Napoli's plus 110, Udinese's plus 240, and the draw's plus 240. I'm going Napoli on the road at plus 110. Women's Super League. Saturday, Everton, Tottenham 2-2 draw. Aston Villa over Brighton 1-0. And yesterday, Liverpool over Man United 1-0. Arsenal over Man City 2-1. West Ham Leicester 1-1 draw. Chelsea over Bristol City 8-0. MLS from the weekend. Saturday, Minnesota over Atlanta 2-1. Charlotte over Portland 2-0. DC United Philly 2-2 draw. Miami over the Red Bulls 6-2. Cincy over Orlando 1-0. San Jose over LAFC 3-1. Toronto over Dallas 3-1. Houston St. Louis 0-0 draw. Nashville over CF Montreal 4-1. New England over Chicago 1-0. Salt Lake over KC 1-0. Vancouver Austin 0-0 draw. And yesterday, Colorado over NYCFC 2-0. And Seattle and the Galaxy 0-0 draw. Women's Soccer League, Friday. Angel City over Utah 2-1. Seattle over San Diego 2-1. And Saturday, all right. We had Gotham over North Carolina 1-0 and Portland over Washington 2-1. And then yesterday, Houston KC 1-1 draw. Orlando over Louisville 1-0 and Chicago over Bay FC 2-1. USL. Saturday, Memphis over Tampa 4-1. Charleston over Hartford 1-0. Loudoun, Detroit, and North Carolina, Rhode Island, both 0-0 draws. Pitt over Miami 1-0. Birmingham, Tulsa, and San Antonio, Oakland, both 2-2 draws. Colorado over El Paso 2-0. Indy over Monterey Bay 1-0. New Mexico over Vegas 2-1. And Phoenix, Sacramento 1-1 draw. Liga MX. So we had Thursday results. Necaxa and Querétaro 1-1 draw, but Necaxa advances on penalties 3-2. Pachuca and UNAM 0-0 draw, and UNAM advances 5-3 on penalties. So Necaxa Querétaro was the 9-10 game, and Pachuca UNAM was the 7-8 play-in. And then Pachuca, Necaxa, because Necaxa. So this is kind of like the NBA play-in a little bit, where it's like the NBA play-in tournament where it's 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the winner of 9, 10, the loser 7, 8 play each other for the last spot. And then the playoffs will get underway in Liga MX on Tuesday evening. ELC. Saturday, Birmingham over Norwich City 1-0. QPR Coventry 2-1. Ipswich over Huddersfield 2-0. Southampton over Leeds 2-1. Blackburn over Leicester 2-0. Borough over Watford 3-1. Plymouth over Hull 1-0. Rotherham over Cardiff 5-2. Stoke over Bristol City 4-0. Sheffield Wednesday over Sunderland 2-0. Millwall over Swansea 1-0. West Brom over Preston 3-0. Dutch Eredivisie. Friday, Almere City Heerenveen 1-1 draw, and Fortuna Go Ahead Eagles 0-0 draw. And then yesterday, RKC Waldrzich over Heracles 5-0. PSV over Sparta 4-2. FC Utrecht over Vitesse 1-0. Ajax over FC Volendam 4-1. AZ Alkmaar over FC 2-1. And Feyenoord over PEC Zwolle 5-0. And then today, 2 o'clock, you have Excelsior and NEC. Just going to pull that up really quickly. NEC's plus 105. Excelsior should have won. The draw's plus 260. NEC's in 7th. They could get into the European playoffs. And Excelsior might be headed for the relegation playoffs. So this is a big spot. I think NEC gets it done on the road at plus 105. Scottish Premiership. Saturday, Aberdeen over St. Johnstone 1-0. Celtic over Hearts 3-0. St. Mirren over Dundee 3-1. Motherwell over Livingston 4-1. Ross County over Hibernian 2-1. And yesterday, Rangers over Kilmarnock 4-1. I'm just going to double check a few things. I have to see if the Pro League played over the weekend, and it did. Friday, Al Hilal over Al Tawoun 3-0. Abba over Al Ittihad 3-1. Al Faya over Al Etifak 2-1. Saturday, Al Shabab over Al Ray 2-0. Al Tai and Al Khalij 0-0 draw, and Al Nasser over Al Wada 6-0. And then today, 2 o'clock, you have Al Ali and Al Hilal. Al Hilal should win that one on the road, and I'm looking, and we do not have any more notable soccer for you today. Now we'll do golf. We will do results from the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson. Your winner with the score of 23 under is Taylor Pendrith. Second, 22 under, Ben Coles. Third, 21 under, Alex Duren. Tied for fourth, 20 under, S.H. Kim, Aaron Wright, Byung Ganong, Matt Wallace. Eighth, 19 under, Jake Knapp. Tied for ninth, 18 under, Kevin Toy, Troy Merritt, Raja Campos, and Taiga Simakawa. 13th tie, 17 under, Ben Griffin, Daniel Berger, Rio Hisatune, Alex Molly, Adam Schenk, S.W. Kim, Kelly Kraft. Tied for 20th, 16 under, Austin Cook, Zach Johnson, Stefan Yeager, Keith Mitchell. Tied for 24th with 15 under, Justin Lara, Pat Kazir, Nicholas Echeverria, Chris Goddard, Minwoo Lee, and Jorge Campillo. Tied for 30th with 14 under, Kevin Chappell, Max McGreevy, Carson Young, Luke List, Daniel Wu, Nick Dunlap, Adam Scott, Andrew Novak, Davis Riley, Kevin Doherty, Adrian DeMont, DeChazert, Tied for 41st with 13 under. Taylor Hogue, Mackenzie Hughes, Alex Baddeley, Matt McNeely, Vincent Whaley, Sunghoon Kang, and Ryan McCormick. Now we're going to do notables 48th with 12 under. Ben Martin, Brent Snecker, Martin Laird, Scott Piercy, tied for 52nd with 10 under with Mark Hubbard, Tom Kim, B.U. Hostler, Hayden Buckley, Tyson Alexander, Harrison Endicott. Tied for 59th with 9 under, Sangil No, Jason Day, Young Lee. Tied for 62nd with 8 under, Joel Domin, Scott Stevens. 64th with 7 under, Henrik Norlander. 65th with 6 under, Chris Kim. 66 with 1 under, Trevor Whitney. Notables cut: CAU, Doug Gim, Matthias Schmidt, Nate Lashley, Jason Hadley, Robert McIntyre, Nate Hardy, Michael Kim, Grayson C., Kevin Kisner, Matt Kuchar, Jordan Spieth, Callum Tarrant, Joseph Burnett, Zichu Dang, or just Zicheng Du, Mac Meisner, Austin Smotherman, Justin Sue, Sam Ryder, Harry Springer, Cam Champ, Bryce Burnett, Chester V., Chon Kim, Matt Neesmith, Brendan Wu, Jonathan Vegas, Davis Lipsky, Sammy Valimaki, Ben Silverman, David Thompson, Seamus Power, JJ Spawn, Ryan Fox, Pearson Cootie, Alex Jork, Eric Barnes, Parker Cootie, Robbie Shelton, Stuart Singh, Zach Blair, Trevor Crow, Pete Quest, Max Graceman, Richie Wierenski, Jimmy Walker, Chad Remy, Ryan Moore, Nate Washney, Paul Fishburne, Roger Sloan, Jimmy Stranger, Paul Bargen, Grayson Higo, Cody Gribble, Ryan Palmer, Camilo Vegas, Wesley Bryan, Victor Norman, Chandler Phillips, Matt Trainer, James Hahn, Kevin Strowman, withdrawing CT Pond, Taylor Montgomery, and Norman Zong. Okay, now move on to NASCAR. We will begin with the Truck Series Saturday night from Kansas. Your winner was Corey Hines. 2nd, Zane Smith. 3rd, Christian X. 4th, Caden Honeycutt. 5th, Brett Moffitt. 6th, Nick Sanchez. 7th, Tanner Gray. 8th, Dean Thompson. 9th, Daniel Dye. 10th, Matt Crafton. The rest: Bailey Curry, Grant Effinger, Raja Caruth, Brett Holmes, Ty Dillon, Ben Rhodes, Jake Garcia, Lane Riggs, Cam Waters, Tanner Ankrum, Mason Massey, Timmy Hill, Matt Mills, Thad Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Lawless Allen, Tanner Gray, Chase Purdy, Mason Maggio, Connor Mozak, Spencer Boyd, Jennifer Jo Cobb, and Ty Majeski. And Cup from yesterday afternoon from Kansas. Your winner in the closest finish in Cup Series history by 100th of a second, Kyle Larson. And right there behind them, Chris Buescher. 3rd, Chase Elliott. 4th, Martin Truex Jr. 5th, Denny Hamlin. 6th, Chris Bell. 7th, Alex Bowman. 8th, Kyle Busch. 9th, Noah Gragson. 10th, Michael McDowell. The rest: Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, John Hunter Nemechek, Todd Gilliland, Josh Berry, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, Justin Haley, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Corey Heim, William Byron, Carson Hosfar, Austin Dillon, Corey LaJoy, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Preece, Zane Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Derek Kraus, Ty Gibbs, Austin Hill, Joey Logano, Riley Herbst, Harrison Burton, Austin Cindric, and Jimmy Johnson. Next weekend, they're in Darlington. All 3 leagues. So that is pretty exciting. Now we'll do Formula 1. they raced in Miami yesterday. Your winner with a time of 1:30:49.876, Lando Norris. Over 7.5 seconds behind him, finishing with 18 points, Max Verstappen. So Verstappen's streak of wins in the United States ends. And Norris, by the way, 25 points. Third with 15 points with almost 10 seconds behind, Charles Leclerc. 12 points in fourth place with over 11 seconds, Carlos Sainz Jr. Fifth with just over 14.5 seconds with 10 points, Sergio Perez. Sixth with over 16.5 seconds, 8 points, Lewis Hamilton. Seventh with 6 points with just over 26 seconds behind, Yuki Tsunoda. Eighth with over 34.5 seconds behind with 4 points, George Russell. Ninth with 2 points with just over 37 seconds behind, Fernando Alonso. 10th with 1 point with just under 40 seconds, Esteban Ocon. And then the rest: Nico Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Guanyu Zhou, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon, and did not finish Logan Sargent. So there you have it for F1, but they're not racing for another 2 weeks, which will be in Italy. So that's going to be interesting. All right, the Kentucky Derby. It was one to remember. It was one of the crazier finishes that I can remember. And one of the big narratives coming into the race prevailed. Coming in first, Mystic Dan. It was a photo finish with Mystic Dan winning. The narrative about Mystic Dan was that he was really good in messy weather, but he barely won this race. So that narrative came in through fruition. Coming in second was my pick of Sierra Leone. Coming in third was my runner-up, Forever Young. So we were close to getting history with the Japanese horse winning. Fourth, 1 3/4 legs behind, Catching Freedom. Fifth, with 6.5 legs behind, T.O. Password. Sixth, with 7 3/4 behind, Resilience, who was the favorite. Seventh, with 12 3/4 behind, Stronghold. Eighth, 13.5 behind, Honor Marie. Ninth, 13 3/4 behind, Endlessly. 10th, 18 behind, Door Notch. 11, 18.5 behind, Track Phantom. 12th, 22.5 behind, West Saratoga. 13th, 22.5 behind, Domestic Product. 14th, 23.5 behind, Epic Ride. 15th, 24.25 behind, Fierceness. 16th, 32.25 behind, Society Man. 17th, 33.5 behind, Just Steel. 18th, 36 3/4 behind, Grand Mode the First. 19th, 40.5 behind, Cadillac. And 20th, 53 3/4 behind, Just a Touch. So it was one to remember. The top three were all right there. And it was a race to remember. And don't worry, we'll have Jeff on again before the Preakness, which is in less than 2 weeks. Now we'll talk about last night's episode of American Idol. It was a really good show. It was songs that make you want to dance and Adele. So each contestant performed twice. The mentor was Ciara for the first round. First up was Jack Blocker. He performed Long Tall Sally by Little Richard. Julia Gagnon did Rome by the B-52s. Abby Carter, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark by Fall Out Boy. McKenna Faith Breinholt, E.T. by Katy Perry. Will Mosley, Gibby's 3 Steps by Leonard Skinner. Emmy Russell, Shut Up and Dance, Walk the Moon. And Tristan Harper, Trouble, Travis Tritt. And then Adele round. Before that, though, Meghan Trainor performed her hit To the Moon. So first up in Adele round was McKenna. She did Make You Feel My Love. Jack performed One and Only. Will did Rolling in the Deep. Julia did Set Fire to the Rain. Emmy did Water Under the Bridge. Tristan did Easy on Me. And Emmy did Hello. All right. So I did performance rankings for each category, and I kind of did like a score round to determine who my picks to go into the top 5 are going to be. So I'm just going to do my overall. So my overall rankings from 1 to 7, Abby, Tristan, Julia, Emmy, Jack, Will, McKenna. And your top 5, ladies and gentlemen, Abby Carter, Emmy Russell, Jack Blocker, Tristan Harper, and Will Mosley. Unfortunately, Julia Gagnon and McKenna Faith Breinholt are out. I thought McKenna was one of the front runners this whole season, but I think she dipped the last couple of weeks, let alone nights, and I think that Emmy's been a big riser. Emmy could be in the final. She could be this year's Megan Danielle in terms of she's good, but I didn't realize she was this good. And Megan Danielle ended up in the top 2, and Megan Danielle was the runner-up to Ian Tulgi. That could be Emmy. I think all the boys are outstanding. I think Emmy has come into her own, and Abby, I think, is the best of the bunch. And she is, to me, the easy front runner to win, although easy might be not fair, because I think Tristan Harper is making a run for her money. I don't know if Will is really giving her a run. But I think Jack has a possibility too. I think Jack's performance last night of Long Tall Sally was one of his better ones. I thought Abby was the best for all around. My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, and obviously with Hello. So next week's Disney. I guess it's going to be 2 each. And they're doing the show from Disney World. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we are obviously going to predict on Friday which Disney hits that the contestants will perform. And it's Mother's Day Sunday too, so I wonder if they're going to do one round of Disney and one round of Songs for Mom or something like that. All right, rapid fire news and notes. And I mean rapid fire. All right. So the roast of Tom Brady was on Netflix, and everyone's reacting to it. I haven't seen it yet. I have to watch it, and then maybe I'll get Bobby Thompson, our resident Patriots fan of the podcast, to come on to talk about this. Or George Brew, who's a friend of the show, also a Patriots fan. Jimmy Butler had some words for the Celtics and the Knicks. He said that if he was healthy, the Heat would have beaten both of those teams. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe it would have been competitive. We talked about Mystic Dan's win by nose. We talked about the Cavs winning that playoff series and how it was their first playoff win without LeBron since '93. Cavs fans were chanting, "We want Boston." Not so fast. Anthony Edwards says that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, and Anthony Edwards is right. Anthony Edwards may be the best player in the world someday, but he's not there yet. It's still Jokic. The Lakers not only fired Darvin Ham, but the Lakers got rid of Ham's entire staff. I think the Lakers made a mistake in firing Darvin Ham. I thought Darvin Ham did a nice job there, getting that team to rally and make the conference finals, and then they lose in round one against the team that won the title, and you're gone. Like, what else do you have to do? The Lakers are a dysfunctional organization that changed his coaches left and right, always excuses and yada yada. Oh my God, they're a mess. And the Clippers want to extend Ty Lue amid the Lakers rumors, and same with Jason Kidd. And the Lakers are trying to get coaches that are currently coaching. Well, Lue's out, or I should say are currently employed. James Harden says that Kawhi Leonard's unavailability is definitely frustrating and mid-playoff exit. Pat Bev says he has to be better after throwing a ball at a fan. Ten Hag, who's the Man United manager, is the latest name connected with taking over for Thomas Tuchel at Bayern. A big baseball trade happened over the weekend as the Padres acquire Luis Arraez from the Miami Marlins, which caught a lot of people by surprise for how early a trade went down. This is the earliest big trade I can remember in a long time in baseball. Back to the Marlins. Dylan Head was the Padres' 2023 first-round pick. Double-A outfielder Jacob Marcy. Double-A first baseman Nathan Matarella. And reliever Woo-Suk Go. And obviously Head and Marcy rank in the top 10 on lists of top Padres prospects. And then I think it's a wonderful trade for San Diego. They obviously need more offense with trading away Juan Soto. I mean, Juan Soto's a better player than Luis Arraez. There's no sugarcoating around that. But at least you replace some offensive production that you traded away with Juan Soto. And the Marlins, they got a nice haul for him, but they could have done better. This is Luis Arraez who just traded away. He was their batting champion. But here we go with the Padres going for it after they're like, hey, we just traded Juan Soto, but we're still trying to win and go get Arraez. But I like the deal for the Padres. I don't hate it for the Marlins either, but at the same time, I think the Marlins could have done better. I think they could have gotten one of these contenders to overpay. Maybe the Yankees if they were willing to get rid of Gleyber Torres, or maybe if the Red Sox surprised some people this year, they could have overpaid for him. I think that there are a couple other teams that I think could have made a play for Arraez, but the Marlins could have done better, but I love the deal for San Diego. Aaron Judge got ejected for the first time in his career after a terrible strike 3 call in the game against the Tigers on Saturday. The Jack Adams finalists are out. It's Rick Tocchet, who I think is going to win, Rick Bowness, and Andrew Burnett. Obviously, Rick Bowness of the Winnipeg Jets getting them to second in that division. Tocchet with the Canucks, and Andrew Burnett of the Predators for getting them into the wild card. So all Western coaches. Was Peter Laviolette snubbed? I'm going to say no because, listen, there was a lot of candidates for Jack Adams this year. I think the Rangers winning the President's Trophy was a surprise, but not a bigger surprise than the Canucks winning their division, or even argue the Nashville Predators making the playoffs, or even the Winnipeg Jets finishing as well as they did after pretty much losing some pieces in free agency and such. So, good for those guys. The Dolphins signed Odell Beckham Jr. on a 1-year deal. So that's a nice signing for them. Duke Johnson's retiring after 8 seasons in the NFL. That's somewhat surprising. Tua Tagovailoa contract talks started. The Dolphins are going to overpay for him. I hate to say it, but that could be the next Daniel Jones contract. Although people will say, oh, Kirk Cousins. But my pick for this is Baker Mayfield. I've said this over and over and over again. The next Daniel Jones contract is Baker Mayfield. Career year, weapons. I know you brought back Mike Evans, so maybe that won't be Baker Mayfield, but I think from an injury standpoint, it could be Tua. From a poor play standpoint, it could be Baker. So we'll find out who's the next Daniel Jones contract. But I think eventually Tua's in play for that. Bronny James got invited to the Combine. That's because his last name is James. Let's be honest. Trey Turner on the injured list because of a hamstring injury. Not great for the Phillies despite having the best record. Cubs are getting healthy. Justin Steele starting today, and then Cody Bellinger and Sia Suzuki could be back this week too. The Dodgers look like they're getting Clayton Kershaw back soon. He throws his first bullpen as he's making progress from surgery last year. Mike Trout posts after his surgery. We'll see if he comes back this season. Despite losing in Game 7, Austin Matthews came back. I said on the podcast on Friday if he was going to come back, the Leafs were going to win. Canelo Alvarez gets his 61st boxing win, defeating Jamie Munguia by unanimous decision to remain undisputed. And Alex Pantoja stays UFC champ by beating Steve Erceg by unanimous decision to retain flyweight title in the 301 main event for UFC. We talked about Jason Kidd being linked to the Laker job as well as Ty Lue. How about this? Devin Booker's son's future unclear as NBA executives believe Devin could be open to move as Phoenix looks to shake up roster. Ooh. And then an executive says that Beal is toxic depth now as his no trade clause could be a problem for the Suns. Yikes. Lakers likely to resign LeBron James. I agree with that. I would think so. The Bulls pick up Lonzo Ball's $21.4 million option. Darvin Ham has head coaching future as Ham is expected to be a head coach candidate elsewhere after Lakers firing. I agree with that. I think he will be back in the league as a head coach. He did a good job with the Lakers, but the Lakers, like I said, are dysfunctional. and really not patient. Like, I'm surprised. I'll put it this way. Dave Roberts is still the manager of the Dodgers after several terrible playoff exits. Aaron Boone's still the manager of the New York Yankees after several disappointing playoff exits and a non-playoff season last year. And Darvin Ham goes and makes the conference finals, and you lose to the reigning champions in round one. Grant blew a couple games in that series, and he gets fired. Someone explain that to me. That's dysfunctional franchise, the Lakers. And a team in their own city, in the Dodgers, still has its manager, who is one of the more overrated managers in the game after losing in the first round year by year, other than winning the COVID title in Texas that year. We talked about what Jimmy Butler said about the about the Celtics and the Knicks. But Tom Thibodeau had a legendary response to Jimmy Butler's video as he goes, who? NBA executives expect a busy trade market this summer due to new CBA restrictions. I agree with that. Tobias Harris scored 0 points in Game 6. Yikes. J.J. Watt says that he's open to a Texans return, as he says DeMeco Ryans can call him if he absolutely needs it. Odell considered the Chiefs and the Bills, but picked the Dolphins. I think the Bills would have been the best fit for Odell. But yeah, 1 year, $3 million. Chase Claypool to Buffalo on a 1-year deal. The Packers want to extend Jordan Love as they're motivated to get it done, as he's willing to be patient and help reset the market. I do not think he's did the Daniel Jones contract. I do not. Because that roster is really good and Love is really good. But he never got that chance until now because of Aaron Rodgers. Chargers signed DJ Chark to a 1-year deal. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets a $1 million plus Fanatics deal. Saquon never got a Giants offer as he claps back at fans saying he bailed on New York. Willie Colon says that Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat. Ooh. I mean, wouldn't it shock me? Charlie Condon of Georgia rips his 33rd home run as he ties the BBCOR record. The prospects in the Araz deal were traded in the middle of the game as the player was standing on second base when the Araz trade went through. That's funny. MLB and Nike have a uniform adjustment as the league announced that uniforms will include larger name lettering and options for individual pant customization for 2025. There was a huge cup snake at the Cubs game in the at the Wrigley bleachers. Jared Allen missed Game 7 against the Magic yesterday due to the rib injury. Didn't matter. They won. But it's going to matter against the Celtics, let's be honest. Giannis was not close to return, as he admits he wasn't even close to playing in that series against the Pacers. We should have known that because the Knicks said, hey, Bogey Bogdanovic out for the year. The Bucks will just never admit it with Giannis because it's Giannis. Maxi Kleber dislocated shoulder, will miss significant time. Is that why that line moved from Mavs favor to Thunder favor? Because of Maxi freaking Kleber? Give me a break, Maxi Kleber. He could return. Will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. I think they can beat the Thunder without Kleber. Yeah, they'll miss his shooting. But I think that Luka's a superhuman, and Kyrie has been awesome this playoffs. And he's been awesome this season. Kristaps Porzingis week to week with the calf issue. We'll see when he comes back. Doesn't have a timeline yet. Cliff Amore picks Alabama over Carolina, Georgetown, and Kansas State. We kind of saw that coming. Nate Oates made a hint about it as he turned down $2 million from a school that was not Alabama. Oof. Aaron Rodgers not limited at OTAs as Robert Saleh says that Roberts needs are still working on rehab, but they're not anticipating any restrictions. Anthony Richardson progressing well as he's a full go after surgery. The Chiefs hype for Xavier Worthy as they said he has the speed you can feel, but they love the football player as well. Pats rookie wide receiver Javon Baker responds to being the 18th wide receiver taken in the draft. Jalen Coker, who is a undrafted free agent, got a call from the Carolina Panthers, and you should see the moment they captured it on camera. The 76ers to monitor 2 stars, Jimmy Butler and Brandon Ingram amid Paul George. Was Jimmy Butler, like, why are we talking about Jimmy Butler? He's not a free agent, and he's not even in trade rumors. The Sixers, what they're doing is getting themselves their hopes up to get a star to go with Embiid because they are feeling the pressure, the same pressure that the Bucks felt with Giannis last year. Tobias Harris likely done in Philly as he'll hit free agency this summer. We'll see where he lands. But it's reported that Ty Lue's not realistic for the Lakers. The Pistons are interested in Bucks GM John Horst to become their next president of basketball operations. The Clippers are eyeing Paul George and James Harden deals as their goal is to re-sign them in free agency. And they want the partnership to continue. And the Clippers were also willing to discuss select few trade scenarios at the deadline. And they never talked extension with Paul George before free agency. So, there you have it for news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So much for that being a rapid fire news and notes. There was just so much that we had to discuss. So best bet. I have options. But my favorite one is the Brewers Royals under went to 8.5. I kind of like that now. But there's a couple I like. But my pick is going to be the Phillies run line against the Giants, only because Black's making his debut. The Phillies are hot. So I'm going to lay a 20th of a unit on the Phillies -1.5 at +108 against the Giants. I just think the Phillies continue their hot play and win by multiple runs. And that's my best bet. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything come tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.